Welcome back to The Explainer. Look, today we're skipping the usual roadmap. We're just going to plunge straight into the core intrigue of a highly specific, kind of mysterious astrological placement. We're talking about the enigmatic energy of Rahu in the 8th house. So if you've ever felt this bizarre, almost magnetic pull toward the shadows, or maybe you know someone who operates like a walking human lie detector, yeah, you're absolutely going to want to pay close attention to this explainer.
Okay, let's just dive right into this. What secret are you trying to uncover? Because when we actually examine the source material in this placement, we realize pretty quickly that we're looking at a massive psychological iceberg. Most people, they just live on the surface. They happily accept whatever's visible right above the water. But for this specific mindset, the surface is just boring. Honestly, it's suspect. It's that massive hidden structure underneath the dark water that absolutely demands their attention.
Section 1. The surface clues, the investigative mindset.
Now, before we drop into the really deep, transformative depths of that iceberg, we've got to understand the observable behaviors right at the top. This placement, it essentially creates a natural-born detective. I mean, we're talking about someone who spends hours, sometimes literally days, obsessively researching topics that most people actively avoid. They have this incredible gift for intelligence gathering, investigation, even forensic work. They're constantly on the hunt for unspoken intentions and hidden motives, and they just effortlessly read between the lines of every single conversation. It's the kind of energy that could probably find a hidden motive in, like, a simple grocery list. They just naturally solve the puzzles that the rest of society completely ignores.
And all of this stems from one core, undeniable feeling. It's this persistent sense that there is always more beneath the surface than other people realize. This isn't just some fleeting thought, right? It's the underlying engine driving their constant investigation. They inherently sense the gears turning beneath polite society, and that profoundly shapes their worldview. It basically makes it impossible for them to just coast through everyday interactions without analyzing the hidden mechanics at play.
Which brings up a really important question for us. Do you trust appearances too easily? Seriously, think about that for a second. In our crazy, fast-paced world, most of us just take things at face value, mostly just to get through the day. We accept the social masks people wear because, well, it's convenient. But this energy, it completely refuses to do that. They just assume the appearance is a mask, specifically meant to distract you from the real agenda.
And when you stop trusting those masks, a whole new reality opens up. What are you noticing that others just completely miss? It puts this tremendous introspective pressure on you. Because when you stop taking things at face value, you start seeing everything, the micro-expressions, the slight pauses, the weird contradictions. And the source material highlights that this ability to spot hidden motives isn't just a quirk, it's actually a highly unique psychological asset.
But what's really interesting here is that there's a very fine, incredibly sharp line between brilliant deduction and simply projecting mysteries where absolutely none exist. Are you genuinely observing facts and uncovering a real conspiracy? Or is your mind just creating theories because you're deeply uncomfortable with simplicity? That right there is the constant tightrope walk for this analytical mind. And it's that exact tension that pulls us away from straightforward investigation and pushes us much, much further down.
Section 2. The descent into mystery. Drawn to the taboo.
So let's see how this builds. This is where the energy actually shifts from simply observing the hidden into actively seeking out the forbidden. We're looking at a profound fascination with the occult, intensive deep dives into astrology and tantra, an uncompromising exploration of the deepest facets of psychology, and just a total attraction to unsolved mysteries. Notice a theme here? They have a magnetic, almost gravitational attraction to the exact subjects that polite society tells us to shy away from. But why? Well, it's because these fields specifically offer frameworks for understanding the invisible forces of the world, the exact forces that surface-level logic completely ignores.
But we really have to weigh these two concepts against each other. Are they seeking knowledge or are they chasing the unknown? Meaning, is this intense fascination with the occult and the hidden about systematically acquiring facts to build a complete picture of the universe? Or is it just about the pure, unadulterated thrill of staring directly into the void?
According to the source, this manifests as a total refusal to take things at face value. You might find yourself questioning taboo subjects rather than just accepting the conventional answers. I mean, when society places a giant do not enter sign on a topic, this personality profile, they don't walk away. No way. They see that sign as a blazing neon arrow pointing exactly to where the real truth is buried.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core conflict of their rebellious curiosity. Are you challenging truth, or are you just challenging authority? Like, are you actually trying to find the genuine, objective answer, or are you just getting a massive rush out of defying the gatekeepers who told you not to look there in the first place?
Now, what's really wild is that this isn't just some internal process. It literally bleeds out into their external reality. As the source notes, you may attract secretive people or unusual experiences. This psychological energy works like a literal magnet. And it's so important to understand that this happens completely unconsciously. It's not like some deliberate networking strategy. By constantly broadcasting this frequency of deep investigation, they inadvertently draw in the exact types of incredibly complex, secretive individuals and enigmatic mysteries they so desperately want to uncover.
So I want you to really sit with this question for a second. Why does mystery keep finding you? It's not a coincidence. It's an invitation. Your own energy, your own complete refusal to accept the superficial, it acts as a beacon for the enigmatic.
Section 3. The Catalyst. Crisis and Sudden Transformation.
Down at the absolute bottom of this psychological iceberg, the pressure is immense. Because down here, things get undeniably heavy. Life can, and honestly often will, push you through sudden transformations that entirely change your worldview. These depths aren't just fun little intellectual puzzles to be solved in your free time. No, they bring profound, completely unavoidable personal crises that literally shatter your existing reality and force a total rebuild of who you are.
So the crucial point here is how you actually frame that intense pressure. Is this crisis destroying you, or is this crisis transforming you? You see, this 8th house energy isn't about destruction just for the sake of suffering. It's about necessary, inevitable evolution. It's like a fire that burns away what's false, so that only what is completely real remains.
And at this absolute deepest point of transformation, we see a shift in the drive itself. The more hidden the subject, the stronger your curiosity becomes. Actually, scratch that. It's no longer just curiosity. It becomes this intense, totally unstoppable compulsion to unearth the absolute bottom-line truth of existence, no matter how much it hurts to uncover it.
Which leads us to the most piercing, probably the most dramatic question of this entire explainer. Are you searching for answers, or are you searching for power? Because think about it. Knowledge of the hidden, knowledge of the taboo, knowledge of how people really operate beneath all their masks, that isn't just trivia. That is profound, world-shaping power. And exposing that ultimate hidden motive, that's exactly what this placement is all about.
Section 4. The Revelation, the Ultimate Question.
Okay, let's take a breath, come back up for air, and lighten things up just a bit. Because the source text leaves us with this brilliant, highly observant piece of what it calls Vedic wit, and it just perfectly ties this entire psychological profile together. Imagine handing a mystery novel to someone with this energy, right? They don't just open it up and start reading. Oh, no way. They have a very specific sequential thought process. Step 1. Who wrote the book? What's their background? What's their agenda? Step 2. Who hid the book? Like, who exactly didn't want me to see this? And step 3. Why is nobody talking about it? What is the mass consensus missing here? They literally never, ever just skip to the end.
As the source brilliantly summarizes, Rahu in the 8th doesn't read the last page first. It wants to know who wrote the book, who hid the book, and why nobody talks about it. I just love that. It perfectly captures that obsessive, deeply analytical drive to unearth the real truth. I really hope this explainer has provoked you to look at your own hidden depths, to question the surface, and to really ask yourself, what book are you trying to find? Keep investigating, and I'll see you next time on The Explainer.